When I tell you this episode irked my nerves, this episode irked my nerves. But before we get into it, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk to you about what is this show called? See, I got. I'm here to talk to you about Next Gen NYC Season 1, Episode 7. So, we start off where we last left off, which was them at the casino, and then they're arguing about the whole Georgia being upset that they're acting like Charlie didn't know, whatever. So they're arguing about that. And it's like, this Loki was a Georgia episode, if I'm thinking about it, because she was in everything. And it was just like, Georgia is so annoying, like real life annoying. So they're arguing, and then we get a cut to Brooks, and he's just like, I'm just gonna disengage, I'm just gonna disengage. And then it flashes to him waking up the next morning. So whatever else happened that night we don't see. So he wakes up the next morning, and they're trying to figure out what they're gonna do for today. And we find out that Georgia didn't sleep at the Airbnb that they're at. She slept at um she slept at, where did she sleep? She slept at the Ocean. She slept at the casino's hotel, so she got the presidential suite. Her boyfriend got her the presidential suite, which we're gonna come back to when we get to the end. So she calls Riley, and she explains to Riley how, she didn't feel comfortable coming back because of everything that happened, and how Omar got her the presidential suite, and she doesn't want to she was upset with him because he didn't stand up for her when Hudson was going off on her, and he was just sitting there mute or whatever. So we go so I'm guessing they had a talk where Riley is going to bring her swimsuit, and they're going to go to the pool at the hotel or whatever. So Riley comes down, and everyone is discussing what they're going to do for the day. And Riley was just like, well, does anybody want to come with me to the hotel with Georgia, because I don't want to go by myself? And they all basically said no, they want to go to the beach. So Riley goes to the hotel with Georgia, and they're there, and they're chilling in the cabana doing whatever. Then we see the rest of the crew, they go to the beach, and they do like sports activities and all this other stuff. So they're like, once they're done with the sports activities, like the whatever, not ATVs, but when you're on the boat, and I don't even know what it's called, but tubing, I guess, or something like that. But they do that. So once they're done with that, they're all come back to the shore, and then they see Georgia and Riley coming. And I was with Gia. Why is she in a robe? Like, Riley brought her swimsuit to the hotel, and she stayed in the hotel robe the whole time. And it's like I don't know, because it was just like, I don't know if that's how she really is, or if she's doing this for attention. But it was just like, it was so annoying, because it was just like, why would you ask her to bring you your clothes, and then you still stay in your robe the whole time you were there? Because if I'm not mistaken, when they walked down to the cabana, she had the clothes in her hand, even though she thought Riley had forgot it. But I think she had her clothes. So child, whatever. So they're walking down the little pier thingy or whatever, and Riley trips, and she drops her phone. And Gia's so irritated, and they're just like, oh my god, like embarrassed or whatever. They were embarrassed. So Riley was just like, if I would give anybody $1,000 if you can find my phone for me. And here come Charlie. Oh, I'll do it for $1,000. I'll do it. So he jumps into where she dropped her phone or whatever. And Riley was in the confessional, just like, yeah, if he's jumping into a muddy water to get me a phone for $1,000, yeah, me and Hudson we're not getting our money. And it was just like, yeah, you weren't. You should have known that from jump. You weren't getting your money from this man, because he's a bum. so she lost her phone, and they're telling her, like, just get to just go to Verizon. If you have insurance on it, they'll get it to you or whatever. And she was just like, it's not my own, it's not my, that's just the phone that has the best service. I have another phone. And they were just like, you have another phone and you're tripping over this one. And she was just like, well, that one had the best service. I was just like, exactly. Like, I could have two phones if I want to have two phones. And what? Okay. And we see Georgia in her confessional talking about, oh my God, when I lost my phone, I had to use my laptop for a month. And she has a new phone within 5 minutes. And it was just like, girl, you didn't lose your phone. Your phone was in your house. You're just too dirty. You were too dirty. You still are too dirty. And that's why you couldn't find your phone that was in your house. You had a whole um what is that, a MacBook, and you couldn't find my phone. You didn't even try. That's why I'm like, are you doing these things because you're that really aloof, or are you just doing these things for attention? Because it's just like, girl, it's like you're too, like, you act too for you to be this successful person that you are. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, so the girls, Ariana, Georgia, and Riley, they do the obstacle course or whatever, and Riley just kept flopping around like she was a little fish. It was so funny. So they all go back to the Airbnb or whatever, and they're gonna have a Jersey night. Um, Jersey night. It's like a Jersey night. I guess it's the last night. They're gonna do like a Jersey night or whatever. So they're all gonna dress like they're from Jersey, and then they have a private chef that's coming to make their foods or whatever. So and I forgot to mention, Ava was in this episode here and there. She kept talking about how she was going to the event in the Hamptons, but she was still in New York this whole time for like dang near the whole trip. Like, you honestly could have came the first night and then left, like all the other, like Omar did and Chloe did. You really could have did that, but you really didn't want to be there, and just you should have just said that I don't want to go. Like, that's what you should have said, because you keep saying, oh, I have an event in the Hamptons and I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to do this, and you're still in New York. Like, you didn't leave to go to the Hamptons until the day they came back, or I if girl, I don't even know, but whatever. So yeah, so we are at the dinner, and um we're at the dinner because so before we get to the dinner, Ariana apologizes to Georgia, and they're cool now or whatever. They all were dressed, I don't know what they were dressed for, but the way that Georgia dresses is so irritating. Like, she had on this shirt with these biker shorts that look like underwear. Like, they look like she was wearing boy short underwears. And it was just like, is this what you think Jersey people dress like? Like, I didn't get it. So Shy comes, and I like Shy. Shy is funny. So they go to the dinner and everyone's eating and they're enjoying, and then Georgia tells them about her bowling alley club that she wants to like do, because she's trying to come out with a club that's a bowling alley. And girl, okay. So she's talking about it, and sorry, she's talking about the club or whatever and how she wants it or whatever. And Amira lets, like, basically says something about, um basically, don't talk about people and how they eat, because I didn't appreciate you talking about me when I went to get a, like, when she ordered that burger, and she was just like, oh, the Ozempic is wearing off, and she was just like, that wasn't cool, I don't like that. And Gia was just like, man, that was a boss move. And Georgia was like, okay, I apologize, but back to my club. And it was just like, are you okay, Georgia? Are you okay? No, you're not okay. So she continues to tell them her idea, And like all of them are collectively in the what's it called, in the confessional, talking about how much of a terrible idea this is. They were just like, this is terrible, who's going to come to this, are you okay? Like, even while they were there listening to it, they were all looking like, a bowling alley, cafeteria, a club, like this doesn't make sense. So Riley was just like, Georgia, and she was just like, never mind. And everybody was just like, no, say what you want to say, say what you want to say. And she was just like, yeah, this is a terrible idea. And everybody was just like, all shocked. And I was just like, why y'all shocked? Y'all was literally just saying it was a terrible idea. Like, they pissed me off. So Gia was just like, Riley, don't be so nasty. Uh-uh. Girl, shut up, because she wasn't being nasty. She didn't say it with an attitude. She didn't say it loud. She didn't say it in no type of way. All she said was, Georgia, this is a terrible idea. And I need my friend to be real with me and tell me the truth. Y'all over there sitting and placating and being nice to her for whatever reason. She about to lose all her money into making out this stupid ass club. And you talking about don't be nasty. Girl, shut up. Shut up. Mm-mm. So, Ariana was just like, yeah, she was just like, Riley, that was a tad bit rude. And Riley was just like, you know what? I'm sorry. My delivery be bad, and I'm sorry. I'm working on it. I apologize. And Gia gonna start saying some other stuff. She was just like, oh, whenever you drink, you're this, and that. And it was just like, are you okay? Girl, go sit down somewhere. I was so pissed. So Riley stood up and she walked away because she was pissed, because it was just like, girl. And um G was just like, yeah, I was just saying, she's been drinking all weekend. And Ariana was just like, we all have been drinking all weekend. Don't try to make it seem like she's this, and that. Because she was just like, when she had said something about that, Ariana was just like, no, 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 no. When Riley is sober, she's still the same person. Don't try to make it seem like just because she's drinking, she does this. And Gia was just like, no, I'm just saying that, when she drinks, you can see that flip, that switch that flips in her, and then she becomes. And she was just like, no, 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 don't do that. That's not, no, like, stop it. She was just like, no, because we're all drinking, like, we all are drinking right now. We've all been drinking all weekend. Stop it. And it's just like, I don't know what Gia's problem is with Riley, because she's had a hard on for her. Like, it's like, no matter what, Riley can't do no wrong, because you was embarrassed by them, by her coming to this event. You had an issue with her the night before when they were talking about Charlie, and it was just like, girl, shut up. Go sit down somewhere. So they just irritating. So the night is over. Everybody's, they go back in the house, and they're, enjoying or whatever. They brought what's that boy's name? Brooks, a cake. And he blew out the candle. They go back in the house, and they're all like, everyone is just in different places sitting or whatever. So Riley talks to Georgia. She tells her, like, they're in the kitchen, and she's just like, I'm sorry for my delivery. I'm working on how I deliver things to people, and I do apologize if I hurt you or whatever. And she was just like, oh no, you're good. It's just this, and this, and da 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 da. And Shy is in there with them, and Shy was just like, this is just so stupid. Like, we're arguing over the most privileged stuff. And she was just like, Georgia was like, privilege? I have $4,000 in my bank account. What do you mean privilege? And he was just like, you're in Jersey Shore in an Airbnb with a private chef. This is privilege. What are you talking about? And she was just like, I'm not privileged. I worked for everything I have. And Riley was just like, no, what he's privilege means. And she explains what privilege means. And here go this big head girl, Georgia, talking about, so I manifested a rich boyfriend. And it was just like, that's not what she said, Georgia. You not listening to what she says. And then so now you going at Riley about this. And Riley was just like, I'm not the one who called you privilege. I was just explaining what privilege meant. Are you okay? Like, are you dumb? And she was just like, don't call me dumb. Don't call me dumb. She said, I didn't call you dumb. I'm asking, are you dumb? Because, yes, are you dumb? Because you're coming at me for something I didn't say. Shy's the one who said you were privileged. And you are privileged because guess what? You had a fight with your friends and you were put up in the presidential suite in the Jersey Shore. You didn't pay for that. Omar paid for that. So you are privileged. Like Riley said, you're a 24-year-old woman who's about to open up a club. You are privileged. Yes, you worked hard for it, but you still are privileged. And you honestly didn't work that hard to open up this club because the person who's going to invest in it is your boyfriend. You didn't have to put a plan. You didn't have to put a plan together, a business plan. You didn't have to put whatever they ask you to put together to give to your investor so that they can invest in this. You didn't have to do any of that because guess what? Your investor is your boyfriend. You are privileged. Why are you acting like you're not privileged right now? Like, stop it. So we see Amira and her boyfriend, Charlie and Christian, which is Gia's boyfriend, they're all in the living room, which is like right next to the kitchen. So they're hearing all of this and no one is saying anything. And I was so irritated because I was just like, y'all all see what's going on. Y'all all hear what's going on. And y'all aren't saying anything. Y'all aren't taking up for Riley because Georgia is tripping right now. She is real life tripping. And then Georgia goes in the confessional talking about, I know Riley comes from this legacy. So for her to say that I'm privileged, and it's just like, no, she didn't say you were privileged. She explained what privilege was. And you decided to come at the black woman instead of the Indian guy or whatever Shy is for the person who actually called you privileged. That's who you should have been going after, but you didn't go after him because you've been having a hard on for Riley. You keep saying you like her, but you keep saying you have all these little smart remarks towards her, and you've been itching for a reason not to mess with her because she called you dirty, because you are dirty, because you don't wash your hands. So please spare me. So she, they're going back and forth, and Riley was just like, you a dumb bitch. Like, and it was just like, you are. And she was just like, oh my God, you're the same thing that Charlie called me. And she was just like, because at this moment, you are. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but you are. And you are, because you doing the absolute most. You're doing the absolute most to someone who had your back the night before, who had your back all day long. The only person who came to you when you were at the presidential suite. Nobody else wanted to mess with you. She's the only one who came to your side. And now you going off on her because you're back friends with Rihanna, the white girl? Yeah, I see who you are. I see exactly who you are. And then here come Ariana talk about, Riley, you can't keep saying I'm sorry for what I'm saying and then still saying what you're saying. Shut up, Ariana, because I liked you, but in this moment, if you didn't hear the whole thing, then you shouldn't have butt in. And then you go and hug Georgia, and she was just like, "Oh, I love you too." No, stop it. You should have had Riley's back in this moment because Shy even came up there and told you guys what it was. He told you that he had called her privileged and now she's tripping. And then you're going to come downstairs and be on her side when she was going at your friend for something your friend didn't even do. So you should have had Riley's back in that moment, but you didn't. So I'm pissed at you right now, Ariana. But yeah, so the episode ends with them arguing or whatever, and Riley's just looking like she sees Ariana and Georgia hugging, and she's looking like, why are you hugging her? Like, am I in the Twilight Zone? Because that's how I feel. Like, but yeah, that's how the episode ends. So we'll see how what happens in the next episode. You guys let me know what you thought about it. Get down in them comments. Tell me what you thought. If you like what you see, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.